Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast battle report. Today, a Maelstrom of War playing the Khorne Deamon kin versus the Dark Eldar and Corsair forces of Skari over this war-torn battlefield. Let's begin. I'm playing Jared and his Khorne Deamon kin. This is a 1500 point combined arms detachment. It's the first time we've had Jared on the channel, but you have seen his paint jobs in the past, his Harlequins and his Slanesh Marines at the Barry Bash and other tournaments in the area. So Jared, take it away. Let us know what you have brought in your army.
Great, we'll start with Verax Brazen Fist, my Chaos Lord on a Juggernaut. He's got Korlath, the Axe of Ruin, Roar of Dark Glory, Juggernaut. I have 3 identical squads of Chaos Space Marines, 8 men each. With a Meltagun Rhino, the champion has an Axe of Khorne. 8 Bloodletters with a Blood Reaper. I have 5 Chaos Terminators. There are 4 Kami Meltas, a Heavy Flamer, 3 Power Axes, a Power Fist, and a Lightning Claw. Hellbrute with a Multi-Melta and Kami Bolter, Skull Cannon, 3 Blood Crushers with a Banner of Blood and the Blood Hunter, and that's it.
Okay, and you did bring your Bloodthirster, so when your big leader dies, he turns into a nasty Bloodthirster of
Unfettered Fury.
Is that the D weapon one?
No, it's not.
Okay. So I brought 1500 points. We have a combined arms attachment of Dark Eldar with a Lamian, 2 units of 5 Cablite Warriors and Venoms. I have 9 Witches with my Warlord Hecatrix with an Agonizer. She is +1 weapon skill, and a Shardnet and Impaler. In a Raider with a Lance. In fast attack, I have a Razorwing with stock loadout, 5 Scourge with 4 Heat Lances, 10 Hellions that you haven't seen ever, and 5 Mandrakes. Then I have a Grotesquerie with a Homunculus with a Cindric Stump and a Flesh Gauntlet, and the Grotesques that have rolled Shred for their mutation. And last but not least, a unit of Corsairs, an allied detachment with a Prince, a Seeker of Forbidden Treasures, and he has a Shard of Inaris, and 5 Corsairs with 2 Flamers, and my drugs are +1 strength. So this is 1500 points versus 1500 points. 2 fully painted armies facing off in this battlefield. We'll be back after mission and deployment. Let us know who you think will win down below in the comments, and check the links to see the army lists in detail. We're playing a tactical escalation, so we start with 1 Maelstrom card and go up every turn to a maximum of 6 Maelstrom cards at the end of the game. The Khorne Deamon kin have deployed Marines, Hellbrute Marines, big cavalry pack, and Marines with a skull cannon back here, all in a line across this hammer and anvil deployment. The Dark Eldar got to choose their deployment zone. They picked a deployment zone with 3 objective markers nearby, and they've deployed 2 Venoms out of line of sight with Cablite Warriors, the Witches with the Homunculus, the Lamian, the Grotesquerie off to the flank, and in reserve, because I have air superiority thanks to my Razorwing, I'm keeping the Razorwing in reserve, which I have to. The Scourge are deep striking. The Hellions with the Corsair Prince are deep striking. The Corsairs are deep striking. The Mandrakes are outflanking on this big table. I have to be careful of the Skull Cannon because it does ignore cover, which is going to be quite nasty against my army. Okay, we're moving on to the first turn. And right now, the Khorne Deamon kin do indeed have turn 1, but the Dark Eldar will attempt to seize the initiative. Drumroll, please. Do they seize? They don't. And it is Khorne Deamonkin, turn 1. The Khorne Deamonkin have advanced at full force. The Chaos Demons smiled upon him and gave him an easy objective to capture, so the Hellbrute was sent back to capture the scatter field on objective 4 for 1 point. Everything else is just advance forward with the lead Rhino blowing smoke to prevent incoming damage from the Dark Eldar. We're now moving on to Dark Eldar, turn 1, and the High Lords of Comorragh have given us the mission of supremacy. Score at least 2 objective markers and twice as many as your opponent for D3 points. The Grotesquerie moved up. I captured objective 5, and I have captured objective 1 with my Lamian for supremacy. So I got 2 points for supremacy. I did kill 1 Blood Crusher with Venom firepower in the middle, as the Venoms split up their forces and poured Venom firepower downrange. And 1 wound has been taken by the Juggernaut Lord, while no damage was done to any of the Rhinos. None of the reserves showed up. Because of my air superiority, it has kept the reserves off the board, and there's still no Blood Tithe points. But Khorne has given the KDK 2 objectives this turn, which are
hold the line.
That's going to be easy.
And recon. Every objective marker must be shown.
The Skull Cannon, the Rhinos, the Blood Crushers move up. Shoot into this Jin King Raider, put 2 hull points on it and prevent it from shooting. And then they failed a key charge. He decided not to pop his banner, which would have made it an easy charge. Hold the line was achieved with a Rhino and the Chaos Space Marines and the Hellbrute, while the Chaos Space Marines failed on their run, only running 1 inch, not able to recon that objective. So recon has been discarded, and hold the line has been captured. So it's 2 points to Khorne Deamonkin, to 2 points to the Dark Eldar. And now we're going to see what the Dark Eldar High Command has brought up for us. We have secure objective 3 and secure objective 6. Okay, so 6 is over here, and objective 3 is at the top of this building. So we have some reserves to roll for. Let's see how the reserves show up. I get +1 or -1 to my reserves, thanks to the air superiority rule. So we've got the Scourge. They do not arrive. We have the Mandrakes. I'm going to get them to come in. So I'm keeping them in. The Deep Striking Hellions. They arrive. The Deep Striking Corsairs. They do not arrive. And the Razorwing, which arrives as well. And this is degenerated into a giant mess in the middle of the table. I have captured objective 3 and objective 6, thanks to my Deep Strikers and thanks to the Witches. I've almost killed this unit of Khorne Space Marines, but now my Witches are going to be charged by a chariot of Khorne, and the Warlord did go down, giving me another point for Warlord, but a Bloodthirster was summoned. And the Grotesques are selling themselves dearly to try and do as much damage to it as possible. It's taken a wound, but it killed the aberration in one fell swoop of its axe. And these Grotesques killed a Rhino. So now there's 4 Blood Tithe points, and we have Terminators and Bloodletters to come into the table.
Alright, the Terminators are in.
They arrive.
And the Bloodletters are in.
Oh, it is bound to get nasty. And what have the... he gets 3 cards this turn. So what are their mission objectives?
Blood and Skulls for Khorne. Basically issuing challenges. are killing characters in challenges, issuing challenges,
Hungry for glory.
and supremacy, like what you had before.
Okay, so all about combat, challenges, and taking objectives. We're on to Khorne Deamonkin, turn 3. The Deamonkin have gained another point for issuing a challenge as well. They issued a challenge as the Chaos Space Marines in this unit charge into the Hellions, and my Shard of Inaris went absolutely crazy, rolled 3 6s for rending, instant death. The Blood Tithe points were used to get Feel No Pain, but sadly no Feel No Pain rolls have been made this turn. They did get away from the combat, and I did not catch them with the initiative roll. That Rhino tank shocked the Mandrakes, but they are fine. In combat, the Witches and Homunculus finally killed the Chaos Space Marines, and everything else charged into the Witches, and I did lose one more Witch, while the Grotesques fighting the Bloodthirster passed every Feel No Pain roll they were required to make, and the deep striking Terminators tried to destroy this venom. It jinked. 4 of the guys inside died to the heavy flamer, but the venom is alive with 1 hull point remaining. It has been jinking. So, are you discarding a card?
Yeah, supremacy.
Okay, discarding Supremacy and keeping Blood and Skulls for Khorne, and we're moving on to Dark Eldar, turn 3. So 3 cards for the Dark Eldar, which are Trophy Hunter. My opponent must nominate an objective marker and one of his characters. Secure Objective 2, that is somewhere, and behind enemy lines, which I will be getting as well. Okay, and reserves. 2 reserves bound to try to arrive. We have the Scourge that arrive, and the deep striking Corsairs that do not arrive. The Venoms and the Warriors fire into the Terminators, and they suffered no damage thanks to the Blood Tithe Feel No Pain. And then the Lamian ran away and tried to hide as far as possible from the Terminators. The Hellions came in, charged into the Bloodletters. 1 is left alive. They killed all the others and lost 2 of their number. These 3 Grotesques charged into these Marines that the Razorwing came in and did a break turn to try shoot missiles at them, but failed to hit thanks to some wild scatters. My Scourge were trying to deep strike here to shoot into that Hellbrute and scattered off the table and did indeed die. And then the Mandrakes charged into that Rhino and succeeded in putting 2 hull points on it to wreck it after this disintegrated cannon placed 1 hull point on it from far range. In combat, I did kill the last Blood Crusher, and these Grotesques, thanks to Shred, put 2 instant death wounds on the Bloodthirster, and it failed one of its saves, and it died. So I did get 2 points for Trophy Hunter, capturing this objective, and then capturing it again for Secure Objective 2, and behind enemy lines for a 4-point turn 3. So we're moving on to Khorne Deamonkin, turn 4, and there's 7 Blood Tithe points to be spent. 1 more and there's another Bloodthirster coming onto the table, and we have objectives to be gained. We have Bloods for the Blood and Skulls for Khorne, which is killing a character in a challenge. And then we have 3 more objectives.
So, overwhelming firepower.
Killing a unit and shooting.
Demolitions.
Which is not possible to do, so we'll discard that and redraw.
Kingslayer, kill the Warlord.
Kill the Warlord, which is my Hecatrix and the Witch unit.
Objective 3.
And secure Objective 3, which is over here. Okay. We summoned some Blood Crushers for KDK. The Terminators charged in and murdered the Venom, but they didn't kill it in shooting. So, and then both units of Khorne Chaos Space Marines have rallied while this Hellbrute charged into the Hellions, and they failed their hit and run. So, no points for the KDK. They're falling behind with at least 2 more turns or 1 more turn to be played. And now the Corsairs are arriving with their flamers and their shuriken catapults. So let's see what the objectives are for the Dark Eldar in this escalating engagement. We have Hungry for Glory issuing a challenge. We have securing Objective 5, which is by the Grotesques. And we have Hold the Line, which I need to kill those Terminators to be successful at. And Assassinate, which is to kill an enemy character. The Dark Eldar Grotesques charged into the Hellbrute, put 2 hull points on him, and did not lose any as the Hellbrute failed to wound with his strength 10 attacks. I did put 1 hull point finally with a Haywire Grenade, and these Grotesques tried to charge the Terminators, but the Wall of Death put 3 wounds, making them out of charge range. The Terminators did lose 4 of their number. I did kill the character in that unit for Assassinate, while the Mandrakes on this flank murdered that entire unit with shooting. So we're back up to Blood Tithe points. I think there's 3 or 4 Blood Tithe points now again. And we're moving on to turn 5 for Khorne Deamon. And we have 2 more cards to be picked up. So
Objective 2.
Score Objective 2.
And harness the warp.
And that's impossible.
Behind enemy lines.
Perfect. That little Terminator is worth his weight in gold. Okay, we'll be back after this. The Hellbrute killed 1 Grotesque, but they did get 1 6 and were able to kill the Hellbrute. So all the Hellions have consolidated. All these Blood Crushers charged into the Witches. 1 wound was put on my Homunculus, and he survived. So the challenge was issued, but the character did not die. And then there was 7 wounds, strength 6, put on the Witches, and I passed 7 4+ invulnerable saves. Very unlikely, but none of the Witches died, which was brutal. And then over here, the Terminator charged in and was unable to kill that Venom, but he did toast the guy inside. So now we're moving on to turn 5 for the Eldar. It's pretty much all over, but the Fat Lady Singing in terms of Maelstrom points. Points-wise, Maelstrom, the Dark Eldar, have taken the Maelstrom. And the Hellions charged in with strength 6 attacks, thanks to Furious Charge now that it's turn 5. The Prince did a heroic intervention, and his Shard of Inaris just completely annihilated the Herald on the Juggernaut of Khorne, or not the Herald, the squad leader, with instant death. And with that, we're going to see if it goes on to a fateful turn 6 for.
There we go.
Okay. And the game is over. Good game, sir.
Good game.
Thanks for driving all the way down to the studio to have a battle. Any comments for the end of the game?
Well, it was a fun game. Quite bloody. Corns, please, either way. Look forward to coming down again.
Lots of skulls for the Skull Throne. There's a couple of key moments, Bloodthirster going down to a flesh gauntlet, and then having the Hellbrute not be able to deal with the Grotesques over 2 rounds of combat with his, 4 strength 10 attacks. It was very interesting game. Very varied Khorne Deamon list. So make sure you check out the links below. Stay tuned for more content. Head over to the Patreon page to see the different army lists and to support the channel financially if you'd like me to continue to build and create better and more varied content for you guys. This is Skari, your grateful host. Stay tuned for the Tactical Corner after the video, where we talk about tactics, army list building, and the game in general. Thanks a lot for watching. This is Skari. Out. Hello and welcome to another Tactical Corner. Playing against Khorne Deamon, and the Dark Eldar. A Maelstrom of War mission, tactical escalation. The Khorne Deamon army list, check the links down below. But it was a very varied list with, Chaos Space Marines and Demons and a Lord and Rhinos. So it had a bit of everything. And so I took a very hobby list as well with the Hellions and the Corsairs. And the only really tough thing in my list was probably the Corsair Prince and the Coven units as well. Now, this game was going to be about the opening gambits. Because of the nature of the mission, one objective at the beginning of the game, and then escalating to multiple objectives, I knew that I had to conserve the strength of my army and lose as little as possible early in the game, because the war of attrition in tactical escalation can really escalate quickly for the Dark Eldar army. And I knew I was playing against a list that could potentially summon new units, and it was just going to be an all-round nasty army to deal with, close up and personal. So drawing them into the middle was part of my plan. I knew that I had to deal with that Lord, and eventually he'd turn into a bloodthirster. And, my opponent failing that charge, crucial charge against that raider early in the game, really changed the tone of the game. Hellbrute looked amazing, the army looked amazing, it was a great hobby experience. And in the combat, I knew I was going to have to deal with the Demon Prince and the Bloodthirster. Sending my Grotesques against him, and I was very lucky they didn't get any instant death on my Grotesques, or else he would have just cut down my Grotesquerie with a little bit of blink of an eye. My witches proved to be very useful in the center of the table as what they are known for, which is a tar pit. Of course, I had to use the Homunculus from the Coven Grotesquerie to give them Fearless. Now, I always run Cindric's Stump to give the Homunculus fleet as well, to be able to keep up with the witches and not slow them down when they're trying to get good charges off. Using the Raiders, the Hellions, the Mandrakes, I was able to come at the Chaos forces from all sides and simply overwhelm their army and just systematically pick it apart piece by piece. Now, the Terminators and the Reserves did come in a little late thanks to my air superiority, and I was just able to use good tactical use of screens and hit and run tactics and target priority to eventually overwhelm the objectives. And as the game continued, it just snowballed into a bigger and bigger victory for the Dark Eldar and Eldar. A couple of key things. Those Khorne cannons are fantastic, and they would have made... I'm just glad he charged in instead of staying shooting. I feel he would have done a lot more damage with that skull cannon if he would have been shooting at me. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know if you think of anything different down below. Check the Patreon page, the army lists, and I'll see you next time. This is Skari, your grateful host, out.